Hello class, Sigu here. Welcome back. Okay, today we're going to talk about something you do all the time, like 22,000 times a day, and you don't even think about it. Yep, it's breathing. We're diving into the science of respiration, and I promise you, it is way cooler than it sounds.
I mean, just think about it, La. After Pujije, or maybe you're late and you have to run for the bus. You're panting, right? Like, ah, ah, ah. So why? Why does our body do that? Well, it's all about getting energy to your cells. And by the end of this lesson, you're going to understand exactly how it all works.
All right, so here's our plan for today. First, we'll cover the big picture, the why. Then we'll follow the air on its journey inside your body. After that, we'll zoom right in to see the magic exchange happening in your lungs. We'll also talk about some health stuff. And finally, we'll wrap up with some key facts for your exam. Simple, right? Let's get started.
Okay, Section 1, breathing, the big picture. So before we start talking about lungs and all the different parts, let's just ask a really basic question. Why do we even need to breathe in the first place? What's the whole point?
And the answer is this one big idea: cellular respiration. Seriously, this is the real reason we breathe. You see that equation there? It's pretty simple, actually. You take the glucose from your food, your rice, your noodles, and you combine it with the oxygen you breathe in. That reaction happens inside every single cell in your body, and bam, it releases energy. Energy for everything, from blinking your eyes to thinking about your homework to running a 100-meter dash. So breathing is really just the first step in this whole amazing process. It's how we get the oxygen in.
Okay, so now we know why we need oxygen. The next question is, how do we get it? So let's follow the journey, okay? We're going to trace the path of one single breath of air from outside all the way deep into your lungs.
This pathway here, this is a must-know. Seriously. So air comes in through your nostrils, okay? Then it goes into the nasal cavity, where it gets warmed up and cleaned. From there, it goes down the pharynx, past the larynx, that's your voice box, and into the trachea, which you might know as the windpipe. The trachea then splits into two, called the bronchus, and these keep branching into smaller and smaller tubes, the bronchioles, until finally we reach our destination, the alveolus. You guys, please pay attention to this sequence. This is a classic exam question, I'm telling you.
But wait, how does the air even get pulled in and pushed out? Well, it's all about simple physics, really. When you breathe in, that's inhalation, your intercostal muscles contract, your ribs go up and out. At the same time, your diaphragm down here contracts and flattens out. So what happens? Your whole chest area gets bigger, and when the volume increases, the pressure inside drops. So, air from the outside just rushes in. Now, for breathing out, exhalation, it's the total opposite. Everything just relaxes. The muscles relax, ribs go down and in, the diaphragm curves back up. Your chest gets smaller, pressure goes up, and the air is just pushed out. See? One is active, the other is passive. Easy to remember. All right, now we get to my favorite part, the real magic. We've managed to get the air all the way down to these tiny little air sacs in your lungs called the alveoli. This is the most important spot. This is the handover point. It's where the oxygen actually jumps from your lungs into your blood so it can be sent everywhere else in your body.
So what's the secret to this magic? It's a science concept you probably already know. Diffusion. All it means is that particles naturally move from an area where there's a lot of them, a high concentration, to an area where there are fewer of them, a low concentration. Like when you spray perfume in one corner of the room and soon you can smell it everywhere? That's diffusion. And this one simple idea explains the whole gas exchange process.
And here's how it works in your lungs. The air you just breathed in, it's full, packed with oxygen. So that's a high concentration of oxygen inside the alveoli. Now the blood that's just arrived at the lungs, it's coming back from delivering oxygen to your body, so it has a low concentration of oxygen. So what happens? Because of diffusion, the oxygen just moves automatically from the high area in the alveoli to the low area in your blood. Just like that. The body doesn't even need to use any energy for it to happen. Super efficient.
Okay, so now the oxygen is in the blood, but it needs a ride, right? This is where hemoglobin comes in. Hemoglobin is a special protein in your red blood cells, and you can think of it like a grab food rider. Seriously, it picks up the oxygen in the lungs, that's the restaurant, and when it does, it becomes oxyhemoglobin. Then it zooms off through your bloodstream to deliver that oxygen to all your hungry cells. It's the best delivery service in your body. This whole system is really amazing, but it's also very delicate. So in this next section, we need to talk about what happens when things go wrong. We'll look at why it is so important to protect our lungs, and then, just for fun, we'll take a quick peek at how other animals and insects breathe. Okay, everyone, this is the serious part. Cigarette smoke isn't just smoke. It's packed with thousands of dangerous chemicals. This table just shows a few of the worst ones. You've got tar, which is this sticky black stuff that literally coats your lungs and can cause cancer. Then there are poisonous gases like sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide that irritate your entire respiratory tract. And please remember, it's not just the smoker who's at risk. If you're breathing in that secondhand smoke, you're also in danger.
Remember our grab food rider? Hemoglobin, the one that delivers oxygen? Well, carbon monoxide, another gas in cigarette smoke, is like a hijacker. It binds to hemoglobin way more strongly than oxygen does, more than 200 times stronger. And it forms this super stable compound called carboxyhemoglobin. This means the rider, the hemoglobin, is now stuck. It cannot pick up any more oxygen, and that's what makes carbon monoxide so incredibly dangerous.
And all of this damage, it leads to some really serious diseases. Things like asthma, where your airways get swollen and filled with mucus. Or bronchitis, which is inflammation of the bronchus. Remember that part? Often caused by tar. Emphysema is when the alveoli themselves get damaged, which means there's less surface area for that all-important gas exchange. And of course, lung cancer. It really shows you taking care of your lungs isn't just a good idea. It's absolutely essential.
Okay, let's take a quick detour into the rest of the animal kingdom because it's pretty interesting. We have lungs, but not everyone does. Insects, for example, have this cool network of tiny tubes called a trachea system that delivers oxygen directly to their cells. Fish, as you know, use gills to pull oxygen out of the water. And then you have amphibians, like frogs, which are amazing. They can breathe using their simple lungs and through their moist skin at the same time.
Okay, class, listen up, listen up. This is the super important part. Section 5, key facts for your exam. Get ready to take notes because these are the points that always come out in exams, especially for those tricky KBAT or HOTS questions. Let's make sure you're ready to score full marks on this.
Okay, a very common HOTS question is, explain the adaptations of the alveoli for efficient gas exchange. You must know these 4 points. Number 1, the walls are only 1 cell thick. This makes the diffusion path super short and fast. Number 2, the inner surface is moist. Oxygen has to dissolve first before it can diffuse. Number 3, there's a huge total surface area. We're talking millions of alveoli, and if you spread them all out, it would cover a tennis court. Can you imagine? And number 4, there's a huge network of blood capillaries ready to carry that oxygen away immediately. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Memorize them.
All right, let's quickly bust 2 common myths so you don't make these mistakes in your exam. Myth number 1, insect blood carries oxygen. Wrong. Remember, their trachea system delivers oxygen directly. Myth number 2, plants only breathe at night. Also wrong. Plants respire 24/7 just like we do. They just also do photosynthesis during the day, which can sometimes confuse people, so don't get tricked by that one. And there you have it, the incredible science behind every single breath you take. It's an amazing journey from the air around us to the energy needed by a single cell. So we've learned a lot today, but before we go, I want to leave you with a question. Now that you know how amazing and delicate your lungs are, what's one choice, just one small thing you can do today that will help you have healthier lungs tomorrow? Just think about that. Okay, that's all from scf3c2 today. Study smart, and I'll see you in the next one.